Welcome to RMTC-DHH's series on the high-leverage practices for students with disabilities. In this video, we will be discussing the 9th high-leverage practice from the CEC and CEEDAR Center's publication, High-Leverage Practices in Special Education. This video was made in collaboration with the Florida Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports Project, or Florida PBIS. HLP9 states, teach social behaviors. Sounds easy enough, right? But how is teaching social behaviors different for students who are DHH? Great question. For the most part, the process for teaching social behaviors is the same as it would be for any other student. However, there are some nuances for teaching these behaviors and skills specifically for students who are DHH. Teaching social behaviors is more than just managing unwanted behaviors. For example, like the roots of a flower that receives good nourishment leads to a beautiful blooming flower. Having access to language leads to self-confidence, identity, and stronger relationships in children and adolescents who are DHH. An article from Gallaudet University's Odyssey discussed how social skill learning and language learning are so related that they are almost indistinguishable. However, just like a flower that has no nourishment leads to it becoming shriveled and sickly, language barriers can cause disruptive behaviors, social isolation, anxiety, and depression, which can lead to low self-esteem and poor mental health and academic challenges. With this in mind, when a flower doesn't bloom, you fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower. How do we fix the environment in which the student grows? How do we overcome the barriers of language and poor social emotional skills? First, the need for collaboration with family members of students who are deaf, hard of hearing is critical and is the third HLP. Educators can come alongside families to support the parents' growth in communicating with their child, whether that be by educating the family on proper and appropriate hearing assistive technology use or through providing resources and means to learning sign language. Studies have also shown that it is challenging to be the only student who is deaf, hard of hearing in a school, and that language is best learned through positive social experiences. So when students who are DHH have access to other peers and adults who are DHH, their sense of belonging and identity increases. The IEP team should thoughtfully consider opportunities for interaction with adults and peers who are DHH, and if it cannot be provided during the school day, the team may consider camps, local groups, or virtual opportunities. So having access to other peers and adults who are DHH and collaboration with the family can help overcome barriers of language and poor social emotional skills. What else is needed? As discussed in our last video on HLP8, Florida PBIS has a beautiful graphic on the 7 steps of the instructional cycle to build any skill, including behavioral or social emotional skills. Let's discuss the first step, defining the skill to teach. How do you define a skill to teach? Assessment. It's important to first assess the student's social skills to ensure you know where they are socially before targeting a specific skill. Using social skills checklists created specifically for students who are DHH, like the Minnesota Social Skills Checklist or the Iowa Expanded Core Curriculum Needs Assessment, may be prudent in determining the need for social skill development in this population, and also honing in on school-wide or classroom expectations that support student success. After determining the need, then you teach. In the research synthesis of this HLP, the strategy of tell, show, practice was suggested in teaching social skills. This goes in line with steps 2, 3, and 4 of the instructional cycle. Model and demonstrate the skill, provide examples and non-examples, and practice the skill in the natural setting. The example given in the HLPs was identifying and defining the social skill of stopping when you are angry. This is the tell part of the strategy tell, show, practice. Using your class or school-wide expectations can help to narrow down the specific skills needed for success in their environment. Next, the teacher should show the student appropriate ways to stop through examples and non-examples. Lastly, the student should then practice the appropriate skills through role-playing and in the natural setting, whether that be in the separate classroom or the general education classroom. If you have students who are in the general education setting, this idea of building social skill mastery is why it's important for teachers of the deaf, hard of hearing to push into the classroom periodically, to ensure skills taught in isolation are being implemented and generalized in all academic settings. Strategies for ensuring generalization and maintenance of the skill taught are teaching directly in the setting, providing frequent prompts, and giving high rates of positive, specific feedback, which leads us to our next step in the cycle. Provide reinforcement and corrective feedback. Just like academic skill mastery, if teachers want students to build social behavior skill mastery, they must provide specific contingent feedback. For more on this step, educators can watch the HLP9 video. Lastly, we have monitoring data and differentiating instruction. Progress monitoring is crucial in the instructional cycle. Knowing if the student is progressing will let you know that the strategies are successful. Knowing if the student is not showing any progress or is regressing will let you know that adjustments to instruction and differentiation based on the student's need is necessary. When all is said and done, then you start the cycle all over again with a different skill in mind. In summary, what can educators do to help fix the environment of their students so that they can bloom? Collaboration with the family on language access. Provide access to peers and adults who are DHH for socialization. And complete the instructional cycle to teach any social skills that may need growth. We will leave you with this point to ponder. What tools do you use to explicitly teach social skills to students who are DHH? Come to the TA Live discussion to learn how your colleagues address this question, and share your thoughts to collaborate together. Remember to check out additional resources in the Live Binder. You can access the Live Binder on the RMTC-DHH TA Live website, or by going to the bit.ly/RMTC-HLP. Can't make it to the discussion session? Or perhaps you're watching a recording of this at a later time. An idea to still work within your district is to visit the Iris Center HLP Interactive Alignment Tool. This tool identifies which Iris resource provides information on each specific HLP. Where can you find the information for the Iris Center? If you guessed the Live Binder, you are right. Remember, you can find that at bit.ly/RMTC-HLP. To watch more videos about the HLPs, make sure you check out the TA Live archive in our video library. Until next time, we'll see you around. This presentation was funded by the Florida Department of Education, Bureau of Exceptional Education and Student Services through federal assistance under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, Part B funds. The information included does not reflect any specific endorsement by any parties involved.